Hey everybody, we're in Palo Alto right now, and we're in front of the one of the R&D centers for Rivian. As you can see in back of me, there's plenty of Rivians here to look at. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to interview a few of their scientists here, and I'm also going to get a chance to talk to RJ. Stay tuned, it's going to be a lot of fun. Hey everybody, finally we get a chance to talk to RJ again, and today what we're doing is, this is the garage, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to give us a little explanation about what's going on, and then we'll get a chance to talk about the vehicle that we're going to take out for a ride.
Great. We're in Palo Alto in one of our garages where we do a lot of the support work for vehicles that are out testing, and this is primarily for testing software and some of the electronics. And Palo Alto is where we do a lot of our software and electronics development. But we've got a Tri here that we're going to walk around as well.
Yeah. So let's go and have a peek.
And Sandy, you had a chance to go through and see all the work that went into this beneath the surface, which is massive consolidation of ECUs. We took 17 ECUs, which is already a relatively low number of ECUs, and consolidated that down to 7 ECUs. And while it doesn't look different from the surface, that complete re-architecture saves us a tremendous amount of both wiring harness and obviously simplifies all the PCBAs, the printed circuit board assemblies, across the vehicle.
Well, I was really impressed with anytime somebody can remove 20 kilos of wire. Yeah, that's a good deal.
A lot of wire.
Yeah, so we were very impressed when we walked around a little while ago at how much stuff is really different and how bare the electronics buck looks like.
Yeah, it's like
after you've taken all the wires off. Seems like you could you could have done it with a couple of wires, or sorry, a couple of strings holding everything up. It was like amazing how much you've taken out. So I'm really impressed.
Yeah, we're excited, and it's going to keep going on R2. Further consolidation, further simplification of the harness. But this is really an important vehicle for us because it introduces this whole new vehicle architecture. This, of course, enables us to have big cost savings, but makes it easier to do software updates with with over-the-air updates. And it's a much easier vehicle as we think about it from a development platform. Now, on the surface, this is a new color we just launched.
Yeah.
This is a new motor configuration with a tri-motor, 1 in the front, 2 in the back. It's slightly quicker than the original quad, and now the next generation quad is really fast, but this will do 0 to 60 in just under 3 seconds. Close to 850 horsepower. But just a beautiful drivetrain, both the front and the rear drive unit now completely in-house. We talked about that before. We've really done a lot of work on simplifying the drive unit.
You sent me one of your motors, which I tore to pieces and had a look at, and I mean that was a big change from the previously store-bought version. So I was really impressed with the motor you guys came up with. The tri-motor idea is a really good one. I think personally, unless you're going to be a real off-roader, the tri-motor should be.
It's sort of like the Goldilocks. It's just
right in the middle.
Yeah, the quad it's sort of it's otherworldly in terms of its acceleration. 0 to 60 in under 2.5 seconds. It's incredible torque at each corner, but it's so much overkill that a Tri's. We're going to go for a drive in a little bit, but it really does it well.
Well, one of the things that I really like, we looked at the outside here, but I like these seats look a little different, and definitely got different floor mats. This looks, one of the things I liked about the Chinese cars is the floor mats. Really? They have some really jazzy floor mats, and we opened this up, and Eric went snake. Oh, this is really good. So he's happy too.
Yeah. I mean, this is a new interior, it's our slate sky interior, so it's a walnut wood, open, it's open grain, so it looks really nice and rich. Different stitching, new floor mats, as you called out. The seats have been different seat design here, but just a up-leveling in many ways of the interior, and we think of this as like our premium interior relative to what we launched with. And this interior comes on the Tri and on the Quad. And it's, with this color combination, it's just really, I just really love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Same continues into the back. And you can see even on the back of these seats, we made them softer touch. It just feels cozy, like when you get into the car, like you're getting into just a nice cabin. And then if you like the floor mats, we carried that through into this little, you see this here, that pattern matches here.
Oh, cool.
Little details like the back of the grab handles have the same pattern that also matches with the floor mat as well.
Well, this is the one thing that Sue was looking at. She wanted to make sure that, she told me, feel and see if that thing is bigger. And it does feel a little bigger.
For
the coat
hangers,
coat hangers, yeah. But it does, I mean, so I'm kind of a truck guy, but I do like the way this is done here. This is really kind of cool as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Yeah, this is, I mean, this new seat design, the two colors actually gives it a lot of, gives a lot
rich.
of personality. It
Yeah.
really looks premium.
Yeah.
It fits the Tri and the Quad personality really well. We'll look at the back, yeah. Little fact nobody knows, the V on the Rivian, I'll show this.
Ah, I did not know that.
So this is an arrow pointing to where the button is. So a lot of times people go back and feel, but if you have Rivian, just know the V is where it is. So.
Well, I just always knew it was on the left-hand side of the camera, but there you go. Yeah.
So this, much like what you've seen, this is that fold flat.
Yeah.
Still the storage bin here. We moved the cup holder actually. See the cup holders now forward, yeah.
And that's a good idea too.
Yeah, the rear cup holders are nice. So it's a bunch of little tweaks throughout the whole interior that we've just made everything a little sweeter, a little easier to use, learn from customer feedback.
Yeah.
This one's got a sub here, and the version that doesn't have the large subwoofer, this is a new storage bin that goes down. It's nice, and these have a roof that allows us to dim it. So it's a...
Oh, so you send a charge through it and it turns dark?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a PDLC roof. So it's really nice for when you're off in a really sunny day, you can have it go opaque or you can keep it transparent.
Cool. So what's the range on this one here with the Tri-Motor and stuff like that?
So with the Tri on the EPA test, it's 371 miles, EPA certified number.
Yeah.
And to get that number, we actually have to test it with, essentially with all-wheel drive locked, because we wanted to have it such that if you put it into normal mode, the front and the rear axles are both on. If you go into conserve mode on this, which has dynamic rear disconnect, so it goes on and off, in conserve mode, it does around 400 miles. But the EPA number is 371, and that's different than our dual motors where we actually have the dynamic rear disconnect always engaging or disengaging. And the reason for that, with the Tri, we wanted to be able to lock so it's always immediately there, full performance at all times, even when you're in all-purpose mode. So it's a decision we made to trade off a little bit on range, the EPA range, but it's still 371 miles. But I'm driving one. I regularly get 400-ish miles just by having it in conserve mode. And the neat thing about conserve mode on this is you can access both. It's all-wheel drive. It's just all-wheel drive on demand. So the rear axle comes to life when you need it. Yeah.
And I don't see any reason for over driving or over extending the amount of power you need at any given point in time.
No.
You get it when you want it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this. You get the efficiency of the single motor in the front, and then when you need all the performances, 850 horsepower, you get the front and the rear combined. It's just incredible.
So I saw the prices online. It's like around 70 grand. This was for the Tri-Motor or the Quad?
That was for the dual.
That's for the dual.
Two motors, one in the front, one in the back.
So what's the Quad?
The Tri's around 100.
Yeah.
And then the Quad, we actually haven't announced pricing yet, but it's of course going to be a little higher than the Tri.
Yeah.
But we have a dual performance, which is a higher level performance than the dual, and then we have the Tri, and then of course the quad. So the goal as we launched this set of motors with the max battery pack, the large battery pack, and the standard, was to give customers a bunch of choices between range and performance, where you could really configure the performance of the range to the level that you're looking for. You know, when we first launched, we only had one battery pack, the large battery pack, and then the quad motor. So it was sort of, you got one choice. Here we give a few more choices, which works out well.
The one choice when we had ours was
cool.
Pretty good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, that's great.
So can we take a drive?
Let's do a drive.
Okay, good. Yeah. Well, still pretty quick. That's and it's not on sport.
Yeah,
that's good.
Quick. I think we'll find a road we can. I'll show you. We have a launch mode that we now have that you'll really enjoy. It's really.
Alrighty.
I'll let you do the full sequence. And so that way, so getting ready, car's getting in the right position.
Yeah. Now we got guys
Press and hold
in front
brake
of me.
with your left foot. Press and hold brake with your left foot.
Hold my left foot.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
brake
then
torque.
Press and hold accelerator. Hold it, accelerator all the way down.
No kidding.
And then it's going to tell you to drop the brake.
Now that's launching. Okay. Eric, you still with us?
You can go right here now. So your 0 to 60 down is 3.06 seconds. See that? It gives you your stats, Cindy.
It's probably because of these boots.
So your PG force was 1.06. Your 0 to 60 there was 3.0 seconds, and your top speed in that launch was 67.
Wow, cool. The one thing I've noticed is that the steering is very light. It's maybe because I've been driving the F-150 and the what do you call it, the Cybertruck a lot, but there's a lot of this moves very, very quickly, whereas the other two trucks
a little heavier,
a lot heavier, but it feels good. It fits my hands perfectly.
What do you think of this new interior?
I love the interior. I really do. I didn't really care for the the bumpy, grainy feel. This is nice and smooth.
This is a really nice piece of wood.
When my wife is wiping something, she left little shavings from the rag or whatever behind. So she was not a fan. But this would make her very happy. Sue,
all right, good.
And Sue sends her regards as well.
Our goal in this interior is to make sure Sue's happy.
Excellent.
Mission accomplished.
And mission accomplished, yeah. Yeah, she really misses snow mode. That was her favorite thing around. Yeah, this.
But you notice the ride?
I do. What's going on in the back? Is that feels different? What do we got going on here?
We redid the rear dampers. We actually redid rear dampers, and we also redid the bushings across the whole vehicle. So just softened the ride.
Yeah.
We still can go dynamic. We can dynamically change it to be stiff. We'll see that in sport mode. But we felt the sort of general purpose, what we call all-purpose mode, was still a little too stiff on the first gen vehicle. So second gen, we wanted to soften things up, and that's feedback we got from customers as well. And we of course experienced it ourselves.
But this feels very secure.
It's robust.
Yeah.
It's always a balance between something feeling too soft and at the same time feeling secure and in control.
Well, this feels...
The body motions are really controlled
and
really expected. There's nothing surprising happening.
Yeah, the other thing it's been a while since I got into one of these. One thing I really do like is the greenhouse. This thing is like... is perfect. I can see everything. Mm-hmm. One of the big problems with the Cybertruck that everybody complains about is the A-pillars. Yeah,
really a hard spot. Yeah,
it's hard to know where those corners are.
Yeah, we spent so much time developing the shape of this A-pillar, its location, even the shape of the hood. You see those little shapes that we wanted to give visual cues as to where the front of the car is.
Yeah.
Especially in a vehicle that's going to do anything that's not on a paved road. If you're on a trail or you're off-road, knowing where the car is sitting
and
how to place the vehicle is really important.
So it feels like Alcantara. Is that what you got here, or is this?
Yeah,
suede?
it's a not that a different supplier, but very similar texture.
Yeah, it feels nice.
It's
and it doesn't glare. That's
glare.
another thing I like. It doesn't give me any reflection. It just soaks up the light.
yeah. So do you want to see the new self-driving feature? Well, no, you got to. So if you just double tap here.
So it just 2 hits?
Yeah, you just pull it back twice. You just like that, and then it'll take over. You can go hands off.
Hands off completely? Really?
It'll prompt you after about 20-30 seconds, depending on the road. But
so let me see.
If you hit the accelerator now, it'll speed up, but it'll stay in the mode.
Yeah.
And then if you come off the accelerator, it'll go return. And then if you want to, let's say, change lanes, if you like hit the.
One of the biggest problems I've got with all the self-driving stuff is if I go into that outside lane, the left lane, will it actually stay there, or is it going to make me go back to chugging along again?
Yeah.
What is the speed limit around here anyways?
It's 65.
Oh, 65. Wow.
So you're within the margin of acceptability.
Oh, okay, good.
No laws were broken during the recording of this video.
Very good. Yeah, they usually just blur it out, so it's no big deal there. But that is very nice. So I'm going to go back here because this guy and car behind me here is crawling up my tail, so I don't want to.
So you want to break your car. You can increase the speed, the set point for it to drive itself. So I just increased it to 81.
81 is the max?
No, you could go to 85, which is the highest we allow the vehicle to be set to when it's driving itself.
So one of the things that I've been noticing on the truck I'm driving right now is that every once in a while it keeps saying things like, I can't give you self-driving. Something's wrong. Is that something that you also find here, or have you overcome that? Because I know you've got radar and quite a few other things going on.
Yeah, we have 55 megapixels of camera. We have 5 radar, including an imaging radar in the front.
Yeah.
An awesome, as you saw with Vidya and the team, an awesome compute platform. But if there's a circumstance, let's say a construction zone, or if we're on a road that we don't have the validation on to say that we're comfortable with if it driving itself, it'll say it's unavailable.
Well, maybe that's what it is. Actually, we found it, or I found it.
We could get off here if you wanted to, Sandy.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's.
You can just go like that to disengage. Now you're. We'll turn real quick.
That's a little earlier than I thought.
Sorry.
But anyways, no problem. It does drive nice, I must say. Which way are we going here? Right or left? I guess we're going left.
We're going to go left. Let's see. I'm going to put this in.
Now where?
I think I'm going to take it back through. We have a choice. We could either go.
Well, I'm in the wrong lane for choices. I can either
go
left or left.
Left or left? Why don't we go?
Where do you want me to go down at?
Let's go left.
Oh, he's got a stop sign as well, although he's rolling through, but.
And we'll just scoot through here. Give you just a different take of a different type of road.
Okay.
And now we're still in sport mode, so you can see compared to where we were before, it's a little bit stiffer.
Yeah. And this road definitely has a few bumps.
Yeah.
You sure you didn't import this road from Michigan?
So what questions do you have?
Actually, because this car feels a lot like the one we had.
Yeah.
And I really and truly liked the drive before, and I like it now. The one thing that I have gotten used to is the how many times I have to turn the wheel.
Yeah.
This one here is still mechanical.
Yeah, there's still.
So But if you go to the electric drive,
Yep.
I can guarantee you that that to me is one of the best features of Brand X. I'm really into that one. I really like that feel where I don't have to.
Yep.
I'm not turning a heck of a lot to get to where I need to get to. I do like that, but this truck and the one that we had feels almost identical.
Yep.
And I really liked the way this thing rode.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Sue liked it better because she stole my car. But at the end of the day, this one feels just absolutely.
It sounds like going to be a new Tri-Motor on the horizon.
I'm telling you what, like I say, I had to give a full report to Sue when I get back. So, and she's anxious at getting rid of the one she's in. What's the delivery times on these things, anyways?
This, if you were to order a Tri now, you could have a Tri, and depends on what you order, but quick. It could be anywhere from weeks to a month or two, depending on what you. But we've evolved our build plan, where originally everything was built to order, and the lead times with that were just longer. So now we're able to more predictively build vehicles to what we know, where we know demand is going to fall in terms of color and wheel and interior combinations. We're going to go left here, and the benefit and the beauty of that is it allows, if you're statistically within that realm, we can have a vehicle that's maybe getting built right now that you might, if you were to order it, we could get it to you really quickly.
Well, that's one of the things that they or let me rephrase it, the legacy OEMs, they've got that nailed. And that's why, whatever you want, you can get it, and usually in a hurry.
Yep.
Because most people, there's some fringes and whatnot that people will wait for, but at the end of the day, they do that well. So what's the feedback been on this truck?
On the Tri, it's been outstanding. Well, I should say on the Gen 2, both, with the changes to HVAC going to heat pump.
Yeah.
We talked about all the simplifications to the electrical system and the harness, which take mass and cost out. The suspension redesign, the inclusion of a new Tri-Motor and a new quad, which quad's coming. Big improvements in the connectivity platform. Big improvements in the vehicle access. And then just like little improvements everywhere. Little thing like the charging pad that's been redeveloped. The storage compartment's been optimized. There's just a bunch of little tweaks throughout the whole vehicle that have made what was already really exciting, better execution.
Well, I know that we made a fair amount of suggestions on the videos and stuff like that.
And we watched them a couple times.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, there you go. Yeah. But I will tell you, this is really quite nice.
Yeah, I mean, things you'd appreciate, but not necessarily something customers experience or can feel or see. I mean, our battery pack alone, we went from a assemblage of components, is a bunch of extrusions.
Right, yeah.
There's that big bent extrusion that was in the Gen 1 pack, and we moved to large die castings at the front and rear of the pack. Massive simplification, took out a huge number of parts. I think the part count reduction was around 80%. We took thousands of dollars out of the cost of the pack, then simplified the modules as well, simplified all the high voltage architecture.
Yeah.
So it's accomplishing the same objective in the same space, but there's not a single shared part in the battery pack from what was there before to what is there today, other than the cell. The cell's a slight improvement from what was there before, but mechanically it looks identical. It's a 2170 cell.
Yeah.
And and that played out across the whole vehicle. The floor in the vehicle underneath our feet is different. Rear structure of the vehicle is different. Improvement in the closures and the doors. So just everywhere we took cost or complexity out, often either through part consolidation or part elimination. Yeah. And a lot of the things you called us out for, we not only agreed with, but we went down a path that was very consistent with, some of your suggestions.
So are you using, does the seats and whatnot get loaded into the battery pack and into the
Not
truck?
in this car because of the architecture to move to that would have been too big of a tear up for the stage.
Yeah.
It's at a future point on R1 platform, we will make bigger changes like that. But on R2, the top of the battery is actually the floor of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So there's not an extra chunk or an extra layer, if you will.
Yeah.
And R2, we were able to really, from the very beginning, from a clean sheet, optimize in a way that with R1, some of those manufacturing improvements we weren't able to fully capture.
Yeah, implement. Yeah, so
R2 also has some really large castings in the rear to consolidate a bunch of parts, using these suspension pickups, rear structure of the vehicle, battery mount, all into one large piece.
Okay, so I haven't had a chance to crawl underneath this thing yet. So maybe when we get back there,
we could look.
Have a look.
Yeah.
I'd like to see what got changed. Okay, so we're looking at the front cradle here, and this is like a huge improvement over the what was here before, or the last thing I saw, which was a gigantic bunch of, I was going to say cluster, but I don't want to say that. But anyways, I really like this. This is really, really elegant. One part versus, I don't know, maybe a 30 or something like that.
There's a lot of parts before.
Yeah. So anyway, let's go back here because we got limited time. And I love this too. This is also quite cool. And okay, we got the one extruded pipe, but here at the end of the day, it would be ridiculous to turn this into a casting. This is an economical way of making everything wonderful. I'm really impressed with this rear linkage. And you were saying something about this control some.
We adjusted in our electrohydraulic damping system. We added a small reservoir, which addresses. There's an audible noise that you could hear in the first gen when the hydraulic fluid was moving. And it sounded like a squeak, but it was actually just the sound of the fluid moving around the system. So the reservoir helps address that. But we can't quite see it here. I don't know if the camera can get in. The other big change, or sort of, the camera can go up through there. I'll do this.
There we go.
Perfect. So this is the back of the
new
battery pack, and this is a large high-pressure die casting. There's also one in the front. And it dramatically simplified that area that you called a cell for, Sandy. It had a bunch of individual parts. Certainly was perfectly fine from a structural point of view, but was not elegant from a cost point of view. So we've really, just massively improved what's there, as you can see.
That's tremendous. Wow, excellent. Well, let's run over and we'll do a bit of a wrap up and then let you get back to real work.
The bottom of an EV. It's so simple. Clean.
Yeah. Okay, so RJ, we've had a ride in the car.
Yep.
We looked at all kinds of other stuff. I just looked at the suspensions over here.
Yep.
Everything looks rosy as far as I can tell. So what's your hope or your projection or whatnot on the on Rivian coming into this new exciting era of to EV or not to EV? That is a question. I just made that up. I like that. You know what? I think that was good. Anyway.
Well, look, the R1S is one of the most popular premium SUVs sold in the United States. In the state of California, it's currently the most popular premium SUV, EV or non-EV. And as we think about EVs in the premium segment, it's the most popular premium SUV electrified. And so we're seeing a great reaction to this product, but of course the price point of an R1 is high. And so it really sets us up well for R2 to come in. And R2 takes the sweetness and some of we think of like the magic of R1, but shrinks it into a smaller platform, takes a tremendous amount of focus towards the manufacturability of the architecture and the vehicle, with a lot of the learnings that you and I just talked about. So we changed the electrical architecture, the ECU topology. In R1, a lot of the body structure was because it had already been developed, was hard to make big changes to, whereas in R2, massive simplifications in terms of cost. And so I couldn't be more excited about launching a $45,000 R2, here very shortly, launches in the early part of 2026.
Yeah.
But in R1, as you saw, I mean, the vehicles, continues to get better. The big step forward between Gen 1 and Gen 2 is the combination of chassis, electrical drive units, battery system. But there's going to continue to be improvements over the coming months and years. And for right now, like for us as a company, absolute focus on getting to profitability. Some of that's scaling. Some of that is what you see here. We had big changes to the part design. And a lot of it is negotiating with our suppliers.
Well, negotiating with the suppliers is a good idea, but the better idea is to improve the product itself.
Yeah.
And that's what you did. And so what I had a chance to look at today basically tells me you're going in a fabulously good direction. Suppliers, sounds like you may be dumping some of them simply because of the changes. I mean, you go from 17 to 7 in the way of ECMs. That's kind of that's a big that's a big difference.
More than 50% of the bill of materials we changed supplier contracts on. So I mean, a huge renegotiation.
Yeah.
And some of that was because part design changed or the system design changed, but other areas it was because we wanted to work with a different supplier. Better cost structure, better quality. So
that's just one of the
we're
things.
moving aggressively with the supply base.
Yeah, and quite frankly, that's a good step too. But for me, first is design, then it's manufacturability, then it's better quality, and then I'll go and attack the supply community. But as you said, like when we've done a couple of vehicles, and in most cases we either changed the supplier or the supplier wasn't needed anymore because we got rid of 60 or 70% of the parts. Yeah. So for me, this is like you're moving in the right direction. Yeah. I'm really kind of impressed with this. Now, when you move to the R2, you're saying that you're probably going to try out the European market.
Yeah, so R2's being designed for the U.S. and Europe from the get-go. And we'll be building them first in Normal. Then we have another plant we're building just outside of Atlanta in Georgia. And initially export, but long term we know because of tariffs it'll be something we'd want to localize to Europe. But in the immediate horizon it'll be export to Europe. And we think the product fits beautifully there. The performance levels, the range, the dynamic capabilities of the vehicle, the packaging of the vehicle really is sized and set up really well for not only the U.S. market, but we think the European market as well.
Well, the one market that seems to be neglected or overlooked right now is South America. And quite frankly, they got some of the shittiest roads on the planet. I believe that this vehicle would be absolutely brilliant. And there's lots of millionaires down there and lots of people. Yeah. Have you thought of moving south?
Well, we've certainly thought about it. In fact, we did in 2019, you and I have talked about this, we did this show called The Long Way Up.
That's correct.
And we drove 2 Rivians from the tip of South America all the way up to LA. So we spent some time down there early on things that were very far from what you might consider to be a road. And that we certainly haven't forgotten that. So we do think there's a market down there, but it's not something we're going into right now.
Okay. Well, I have, I guess I have to ask it. So you're moving closer to VW. Personally, I think that's great for VW, and you're getting a few bucks. But there's a lot of talk about what's happening in Europe and especially Germany. Yeah. Germany is falling apart, literally. How is that going to, are you in bed with the Volkswagen in North America, or are you up in Wolfsburg?
Yeah, so the deal we just announced, it's a $5.8 billion deal, and it's taking our software stack and the electronics, not including our self-driving platform, but the electronics and software outside of self-driving. Yeah. And we're going to be deploying it across a whole host of brands under the VW Group portfolio. So Porsche, Audi, of course, Volkswagen. And we'll be doing that.
MEV? Is that going to be one of the platforms you're going to be doing on?
Effectively, the future versions of what that will become.
Future MEV.
So all Volkswagen EV platform, Volkswagen Group EV platforms will move to our software and to our electronic stack. And
okay,
that deal
means
structure.
So the confusion here for me is that you're actually going to become a tier 1 supplier as opposed to truly in bed with VW. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're not. As part of this deal, they have invested in the business, but importantly, we're going to be providing technology. And the thing that's exciting to me is the opportunity to help make highly compelling products, beyond and outside of the Rivian brand portfolio. And I grew up a Porsche fan, so it's sort of exciting to think about our technology being in Porsches.
Yeah.
But even beyond that,
tell them they don't need a 2-speed transmission. You tell them, not don't listen to me. But anyways, go ahead. Yeah.
So I mean, but envisioning our technologies, in different form factors, different price points across the globe is really exciting to us, but also certainly exciting to the teams that are developing all those systems.
So, on another happy note, okay, so you've got Mr. Trump, our new president, coming up, and you've got Elon Musk. And you've got one guy that says, EVs are great, and another guy that says, I need more oil. Where do you think things are going to happen, and what's your projection on what's going to happen here in the next, I don't only want to hear 4 years, I just want to go about a year.
Next year, actually, it's interesting. I can predict the distant future easier than the near-term future. So I think the long-term, nothing changes. The world's going to electrify. You and I have talked about this for a long time, and it's really critical that I think any company that's in transportation recognizes that 100% of the world will be electric. And in the not too distant future, whether that's 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, it's going to happen quicker, I think, than most expect, just because the experience is so differentiated and so much better than what you'd have with ICE. But in the immediate next year, I think there's going to be a lot of unknowns around what's happening with some of the consumer-facing credits, which have been talked about, so the $7,500 credit. But I think long-term that really doesn't change the equation dramatically. And then I think the biggest challenge here, which is not policy, which is not political, is we need more customer choice. So if you're a customer that wants to buy an electric vehicle that's under $50,000, I would say without exaggeration, there's a couple, certainly less than the number of fingers on one hand, of highly compelling options. The Tesla Model Y, Tesla Model 3, great products, but there's not alternatives. And if you compare that to the ICE world, where you have a wide array of brands, a wide array of form factors, a wide array of design decisions that are taken differently, we just need much more choice for customers to see the rate of electrification grow beyond what it is, say, about 8% in the United States, to see it grow to 15, 20, 30, 40, eventually 100%. Mm-hmm. And so this is what has us so excited about R2. It's much like the R1 is very different than products that are in the space today. So, while the price point of an R1S is similar to, let's say, Tesla Model X, they couldn't be more different in terms of their features, the decisions we made at the product level to what they're going to accomplish and the type of experience they enable. They're both great products, but they're speaking to a very different audience. And I think that's important. And the same thing, I think, needs to be true under $50,000. So Model Y certainly is there. It's a great product. I've had one. And as a result, it's the best-selling vehicle in the United States, and understandably. But there needs to be something that's different and something that's exciting and compelling, but for compelling in different ways, and not trying to just follow or copy the formula that Tesla's figured out with Model Y.
Mm. Well, I think that personally, I think that the people who are focused on electric and only electric are gonna survive real well. The guys who've got one foot on first and trying to get a second foot on second base, they're going to have a lot of problems because there's so much diversification and so much distance between those two areas. The one thing that I am hoping about is that somehow everybody's going to take into account that, hey, you know what? That tape on the floor is plastic. That comes from oil. Hey, you know what? That box that holds your charging system, that's made out of plastic, and plastic only comes from one place. Only one place, and we use a lot more oil for that than we do for the what do you call it, internal combustion engine. So in fact, almost everything is made out of plastic. So I am hoping that Trump is going to come along and say, hey, I'm going to open up the, what do they call that? The pipeline from Alberta. I'm going to open that up, and that'll give us the ability to reduce the cost of plastic. And if plastic prices go down, because we're not going to replace this. I mean, somebody told me, oh, you could just make it out of aluminum. Really? No, you can't do that. We need plastic. I'm not a fan of throwing it into the ocean, but I am a fan of making sure that the United States has got a good, strong leg on raw materials. And I'm hoping, begging everybody to start thinking about right now we're looking at somewhere between 98 and 95% of all the critical elements, chemicals, minerals, everything basically we need isn't from here. And I'm hoping that Trump and his crew will say, time to stop worrying about a lizard or a frog or whatever and start focusing on what the American people need. So
yeah, I mean, we could spend hours talking about the supply chain. I mean, if you go from battery materials all the way through the plastics in the vehicle, supply chains get really messy in ways that I think isn't always fully appreciated. I mean, take that headlight. We buy that as an assembly from a tier 1 supplier, who then in turn has a number of tier 2 suppliers, and then in turn has a number of tier 3 suppliers, and then there's tier 4 material suppliers. And so the layers of abstraction that exist between us buying that from a supplier, in this case the United States, to where all the things come from, it's really easy to lose track of who's controlling the root of whatever that part is.
Exactly right.
And I do think paying a lot closer attention that from every angle, from a cost point of view, from a sustainability point of view, from a labor practices point of view, which you and I have talked about before. This is something we've been promoting a lot, and we study very closely. In fact, we put out an annual report that looks at the footprint of what it takes to build a vehicle. And I say this all the time, it'd be impossible to build a vehicle that takes no energy to make it. So we have to accept that it's going to take energy to build the vehicle, but let's optimize how we do that. Where are we getting our materials from? Shipping things often halfway around the world doesn't make sense from an energy point of view, and frankly from a long-term cost point of view. And so having a very balanced view there is something we're certainly promoting as well.
I think what we need to do is start looking at optimizing the United States interests, and not interests that might be short-lived or short-sighted by some of the other interests, if you like, in North America. So I'm looking at this truck and I'm saying, this is brilliant. I think you did a fabulous job. I'm very, very excited about this. I'll bring a full report home to Sue, and so we'll hopefully be seeing one of these in our driveway.
Yeah.
I really like the. I think that for me the Tri-Motor is just.
It's a Goldilocks.
Yeah, it is.
Great.
It's perfect.
Awesome.
So anyways,
thanks, Andy.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the tour.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time. And thank you very much for watching. Bye.